Hi everyone, Jesse here. Just wanted to answer some of the questions about church renewal that Tim brought up. Totally agree. First of all, Tim, I think yeah, there's no silver bullet when it comes to church renewal, and um, I think in my history I always went through phases where I found or thought I had the silver bullet, and then I realized soon after that it wasn't the case, and that there's a lot more to it. There's a lot more complex. But at the same time, I don't think that it means that everything's game. You know, it doesn't mean that everything is okay and everything's right in what we're supposed to focus on. I think it's a lot of different things that need to mesh together. Um, but I think that we have to prioritize certain things over other things. You know, I mean, there's this substance, things of substance, and there are things that are a little bit more cosmetic, like Tim was talking about, whether it's like a pastor with tattoos and the smoke and the lighting and all that kind of stuff. And so that's a very important thing for us to wrestle with is the idea of what is the things of substance. And I think the first place that I go to is kind of what Tim was saying at one point, as part of it is like, yeah, I think part of it is actually going through some timeless truths, timeless ministry practices, that perhaps we can discover were in many church renewals throughout history, church history. That's a good place to start, I think, and to just kind of have an emphasis on doing the basic things and doing them well. And perhaps the reason why sometimes the church is not in a healthy state is because we're focused too much on the cosmetic things and not as focused on the fundamental things. And sometimes just the boring stuff. You know, I mean, the boring stuff that contribute to spiritual maturity. And um, I think that's where it begins with first. And I think if we do the really simple, fundamental, you could say sometimes boring things well, like some discipleship well, reading our scripture really in depthly, or um, you know, serving the poor, and like these very basic things, if we do those things really well, and we do it in a way that really can be contextualized to our culture, when we can, have that, that's a good place to start. And the next thing I think is, particularly church renewal in our generation right now. I think about the millennial generation. I think about sacrifice. I think that's a huge element to it. Just a people and a church that is willing to lay down our lives for the sake of others. I think that catches because our millennial generation is not into, it's not really liking the gimmicks and all that kind of stuff. They're not really captivated necessarily by the charismatic speaker in the front anymore. We're looking for something very genuine, and there's nothing more genuine than someone laying down their life for a friend, right? And so I think that's a huge element as well, coupled in there. And I guess lastly, everyone's going to have a different emphasis on what is like of substance according to their perspective. Like these days for me, I'm in a season where working with the poor is really important to me, and that's something perhaps I will bring to the table in advocating. This is really important. Others might have a different angle on things, and I think it's um, bringing those different things together, which I think this think tank is, I guess, for. I think when we do that, then and start prioritizing in light of a really deep understanding of what everyone else is thinking in an open mind, that's perhaps when church renewal can happen, when we have a cross section between people of different focuses of the things that are of substance. So there's that. I mean, those are some thoughts I'm just externally processing. So that's all I got. I'm not moving around like I notice all you guys doing. I mean, just moving around, walking around. It's very cool. But I have like a laptop that I'm holding, so it's not really cool to walk around with this laptop. So that's it. See you guys.